The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 15th day of July, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, every last one of you. Happy Monday. How's everybody doing? How was your weekend? Did everyone... I heard it was a lot of good local cricket on in Bermuda. Not sure if anyone goes cricket games outside of Cup match in Eastern County, but looks like it was a big one up at the Western Counties this past weekend. Anybody have any barbecues yet? What'd you do? How were your weekends? James Burgess says, good morning to the Daily Hour team. Have a great week. Stay safe and hydrated. Pablo, same to you. Make sure you have a great week. Be safe and stay hydrated as well. Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Monday, Jamal, and an awesome Monday to you as well, Suzanne. Hopefully you had a great weekend, Suzanne. Got to do what makes you happy on the weekend, and that goes for everyone. I hope you all had the opportunity to do what makes you happy. I don't know if anyone saw, but did anyone watch the Euros or Copa America? What happened in Copa America here in Miami, where I'm located, it was pretty bad. I think in less than 24 hours, the United States of America experienced two huge security breaches. And, people were rightfully on social media just questioning, how is this country going to host the world's biggest event, which is the World Cup, in 2 years when those things happen? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, last night, the game in Miami, the crowd just rushed the gates and, overwhelmed security, which was a huge breach. And then on Saturday, has been reported, an alleged attempted assassination of the president of the United States. It's interesting weekend, of events as far as security in the U.S., but also there are some, like me, people who feel like football was saved yesterday when Spain defeated England in the Euro final. So not sure if you saw that game, but it ended 2-1 to Spain. So England is still without a major trophy since 1966. Now, that might be 58 years, if I'm not mistaken, if my math serves me correctly. So congrats to Spain and all the Spain supporters. And the Copa America, Messi, though he went off injured, Argentina won their third straight major title, going back to the World Cup in 2022 and the Copa America prior to that. So big weekend. What did you do on your weekend, folks? But look, greetings, everyone. I haven't even greeted you this morning. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. We're going to discuss what more we can do to save our sons. What more can we do to save our sons? This is not about the government backbenchers, as according to the Royal Gazette, blaming the governor whose responsibility it is. It's really a community thing. So what more can we do to save our sons? The Daily Play is a Who Said It. Yep, a Who Said It. And don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, let's jump right to it. Let's get right into the question for the day. So, what more can we do to save our Bermudian sons? What are your thoughts? What more can we do? What more can we do as a community to save our Bermudian sons? I think one of the things that comes across on social media to me is whenever this happens, I know like Bermudians, well, most people tend to make fun of the United States that, if a mass shooting happens or a school shooting, we kind of frown upon those politicians or decision makers who send thoughts and prayers, because you expect them as the policymakers and legislators to actually change things, right? Unfortunately, you read the comments, you watch the press releases with the government, it starts to come across like we've become that community. I hate that for Bermuda. I hate that for a small community like us. But what more can we do to save our sons? Like, there was a time when, people would say, well, maybe we just need to get out of our religious spaces and go out to them and meet people where they are. For years, people in law enforcement and government would say, well, it's only just a few. It's a tiny bit who are causing trouble or involved in this. But regardless of how many or who, what can we do? Like, do we need more education opportunities? Everyone speaks about root causes, right? But how do we address the inequities that lead to where we are? What can we do? Like, what can the good citizens and people of Bermuda do? What can you and I do? Are these steps in the right direction? Having these discussions, is this part of it? What more can we do to save our sons? But also, yes or no question first. Do you know someone who has been impacted by gang violence in Bermuda? Do you know anyone? Do you know someone who's been impacted by gun violence in Bermuda? Because we always talk about Bermuda's so small, everyone knows everyone. And I would find it hard to believe a colleague, a family member has not been impacted, or a friend, let's go to the audience. Do you know someone who has been impacted by gang violence in Bermuda? Suzanne Ingham says yes. She says yes. How many others have you been impacted by gang violence in Bermuda? Also, what more can we do to save our sons? That's the question this morning. What more can we do to save our sons? Shamari Sky says, identify troubled young men earlier. Identify troubled young men earlier. Identify troubled young men earlier. This is something that, Shamari Sky will probably know this because I know you've listened to other shows that I was part of. But I used to always say, when it came to conscription, you don't take a dog and try to train it. You train a puppy. And I hate to compare us young black men at the time to dogs, but the same goes for humans, right? You get a child while they're young. You groom them. You teach them. You educate them, and mold them into good citizens of the country. You do it when they're young, right? You don't wait till they're older. So I believe that right there, identifying troubled young men earlier, is important to this. He says, I believe we must revamp truancy programs and offer programs locally and abroad to support them. What are your thoughts on that? And Shamari Scott, how do we identify those young men earlier? Because I think Larry, as an educator, mentioned something like that as well in his past as an educator. But again, do you know someone who has been impacted by gang violence in Bermuda? And what more can we do to save our Bermudian sons? What more can we do? What if we all can, do we all agree that the root cause starts with inequities? Can we all agree with that? And if we agree that the root cause starts with inequities, then how do we go about addressing those inequities to save our, let's just say it, save our Black Bermudian sons? What more can we do? And it's not just the violence. Let's be clear. It's not just the violence. I mean, you can say that road fatalities are violent as well, but we're losing them on the roads. So what more can we do? What are your thoughts? What more can we do as a community? It's take it out of the government's hands. It's in our hands. What can we do? Because at the end of the day, yeah, we need legislation and policies to guide us. But as a collective, what's on our conscience? I'm gonna be honest with you. It hurts me. I sit and think all the time, what can we do? And I agree again, Shamari Sky, we have to address it before it gets there. Help them before they get there. Tarsi Domin Augustus says, I lost my son to gun violence July 1st, 2022 at 19 years old. Tragic. Tragic. And the question was, do you know someone who's been impacted by gun violence? That's tragic. And I'm not sure who your son is, and that doesn't really matter, but I just hope that you receive justice. Not like that's any form of closure or going to bring him back. But I hope that at least your son received or is receiving justice. Malachi Troy says, give us an opportunity. Frustration brews when you feel like you have no opportunity, no purpose. There are people who return with degrees and have no opportunity. It builds unrest and anger. Let's touch on this, Malachi. An opportunity. So let me play devil's advocate with you, Malachi. Is it anyone else's responsibility outside of our parents who bring us into this world? Is it anyone's responsibility to give us an opportunity? Or is it the government's responsibility to create legislation and policies so that we can create our own opportunity? Or is it a combination of both? Let's kind of address that. But I definitely agree with you that, the lack of opportunities leads to social ills. I don't think that's anyone would necessarily disagree with that. It does. Kenton Trot says, good morning, TDH family. One key element to save our sons is opportunity and support. Okay, another one, opportunity. I don't disagree. But I want to go deeper about this opportunity. An audience, jump in. What does opportunity look like? Who has to give who an opportunity? Are we talking about reparations? Because we never go that deep when we're talking about inequities. What does it look like? We've got Malachi Troy says, we are the government, so it's on us as a community. Say that again. Say that again. The people are the government. Kenton Trott says, community clubs and community centers play a vital role. Well, when I was young, I mean, we had Pembroke Youth Center where I used to go camp and stuff. I know St. George's does St. George's still have a youth center down there? Because I remember going to camp down there one year as well. But I definitely agree. PCCs out there, a number of ones, youth centers, or community centers. As far as community clubs, I don't want to pick on any one club, but you would. I think that most people would agree that community clubs are the backbone to our society, like our island, our country. They were, at least when I was growing up. But things changed, and this is where I want each of us to give each other grace. Like I want all of us to give each other grace, right? The world's so different, man. It's so different. Like, I was reading an article recently where our parents and grandparents generation were able to buy homes and still have a lot of excess cash to do other things. Whereas we may be making more money today, but I forget the percentages, but you're not making enough to like underwrite a house like times before, right? And that brings me to the community like part is back then it seemed easier to do community activities and the like because you were able to afford to give your time. And again, give people grace. Some people can't afford to volunteer their time. You know, the Minister of Education, Diallo Ruben, the Honorable Diallo Ruben, came on last year and he spoke about removing part of the scholarship, which meant, I think it was community service. Correct me if I'm wrong, audience, but something about, and it makes great sense because Joe down the street may not have the opportunity to volunteer as a candy striper because Joe down the street has to go pack groceries, right? So you see where we're going with the conversation to address inequities and stuff? See, we discuss root causes. This to me, it starts with dealing with the inequities that lead to children going that way and involving themselves in antisocial behavior. So we gotta address the inequities there. So to Kenton Trott's point about community centers and community clubs, back in the day, people used to have time to go in and give to their clubs and community centers. Now, they're literally, some people are just trying to get by. They're just trying to survive. I would love to see more people involved in our community, all of us, myself included. But it's not easy. People are trying to eat. They're trying to feed their family, pay their bills. Question, folks, what more can we do to save our Bermudian sons? What more can we do? Shamari Sky says, the troubled kids are not hiding. They are openly crying for help. Anyone in town after school can see. We need a program that identifies them and assists with getting them on a more fruitful path. That first part of your sentence, that the troubled kids are not hiding. They're, I don't disagree. Again, Larry has said when he was an educator, he saw it. What more can we do to save our Bermudian sons, in particular our Black Bermudian sons audience? Teray Toll says, this conversation is decades old. Yes, it is. She says it's hard to be hopeful when it seems like most avoid responsibility for their behavior. When you say most avoid responsibility for their behavior, are you saying that most don't have to deal with the consequences of it as well? Kia Renee BDA says holistic approach is needed. What we listen to, watch, eat, speak, all has an impact on the mindset. Right education is needed. Once education is there and applied, everything else will fall into place. You know what? I want to say something on that. The holistic approach part. Going into the I think it might have been after the 2017 election when Wayne Keynes was the Minister of National Security. He kept using that term about taking a holistic approach to the violence in Bermuda. Again, maybe he was in the process as minister of overseeing that holistic approach to bring it to fruition, but he was no longer minister after a mishap. But if anyone knows Wayne Keynes and has his information, email, phone number, ask him about the holistic approach. And if there's still talks, even though he's not minister, for the government to bring that to fruition. What more can be done to save our Black Bermudian sons audience? Charles H. Jeffs II says, reestablish our moral compass where we value our own lives and that of others. The way I see young people riding, I can't imagine that they value their own life. So how do we reestablish our moral compass? Like, how do we do that? I mean, for years, you had people in the church saying, oh, they need to go back Sunday school. Is that it? Religion? Or is that part of how we got here? Is it more programs. I mean, look, let's call it what it is, right? One of the things that I find so interesting that people never mention when talking about community clubs and stuff like that is Bermuda's changed in that respect. Hear me out. No one ever mentions that growing up, you literally played for a club football team. No one's addressed that you have certain schools, Solstice or Work Academy, now playing in BFA youth leagues. Those are children and parents and good people that you're taking away from our clubs, community clubs. You got children who are offspring of people who built some of the community clubs, who are actually playing in programs that are not community clubs. But we never talk about that and think about that impact that it has. And those programs are filled with money that our community clubs don't have. I'm not hating on them, folks. Honestly, I believe people should do what they believe is in the best interest of their young people. What I'm simply saying is we have to understand the correlation between them. We have to. If you take some of the best out of our community clubs, because it's not just the children going to these programs, like a Work Academy or Solstice, right? It's not just the children going to those programs. They're taking parents. Parents sometimes become involved in the clubs, but also people who built our community clubs. Literally, their grandchildren and children are going to those programs. That's a breakdown. Think about that. It plays a role. Teray Toll says, yes to community support, yes to increasing opportunities, but also yes to accountability and responsibility for cultural behavior and toxic behavior. Indeed. This is a conversation, as Teray said, is as old as can be. But we've got to keep having it until we stop losing our sons. Tarsi Dominagasa says, we as parents need to hold ourselves, environment, and children accountable for their behaviors. Absolutely. Absolutely. She goes on to say, we as parents are the first responsibility for their well-being. Hatred is taught just as racism is taught. Teresa Marie says, I think we need relevant, detailed, up-to-date stats for starters, more than lacking opportunities. I've observed lacking preparedness year on year for decades. This right here, I want to underline this because it's something I repeat on this show often, right? When Scott Pierman, my old boss at Intelligent Communications, brought in Steve Perry, Dr. Steve Perry, and I said this on the show before, he said, we got to start preparing our children for things that don't yet exist. This right here, a lack of preparedness year on year, that goes across the board, Teresa, in so many respects. Michael Daniel says, more attention needs to be placed on the parents as they are the most significant developers of our young people. All right. Thank you all so much for this. This is, again, another important community conversation. If you haven't already, we're going to continue it, but we've got to bring Maya in for the Daily Hour news break. So keep your comments coming. Let's have this brainstorming session, and let's hope that this brainstorming session is shared with your politicians. Make sure that they understand how we're feeling. Make sure that they know that we have some ideas on how it needs to be addressed and could be addressed. But let's not let not the conversation end here. Let not the conversation end here. All right, let's bring Maya Palacio, but keep your comments coming. What more can we do to save our sons? But let's bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour news break, and we'll continue after this.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
You know, I'm doing pretty good this morning. I had a pretty nice weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you had a nice weekend because, you know, I told you I was traveling this weekend, right?
Mm.
Yeah. You know, my people who travel today are so lucky, like children, because back in my day, we didn't have like live TV on an airplane. You know, yesterday, live TV, I was able to watch the game on my flight. We couldn't do that many years ago. We didn't have Wi-Fi on airplane. So I was actually just thinking of the privilege the privilege that we have when it comes to technology is just insane. Like this instant gratification is understood. Because I'm just there, like I'm thinking, but I don't know why, but I'm just thinking, I'm actually watching the Euro final on this airplane. How spoiled are we?
Exceedingly.
Right? Like, do we even think about, again, times change and times evolve, but I was just like, I'm thinking, like, wow, we are really, we have it so good in so many respects. And I'm not saying life's perfect, it's far from it, but we have it good. And I think times like that, you actually appreciate the good in life. And to me, it's not a necessity, but it's something that can help you relax and else enjoy. But I don't know if it's like that on all airlines, but big up to Delta. Bermudian, over to you. But anyway, I want to ask you about this morning's question on Black Suns. Save Our Black Suns. You've done quite a lot on Media Maya, your Instagram page, engaging audiences and the like. But and as Teray said, like we've had this as an old age conversation. We have it over and over and over. Here's why I believe in repeating conversations, though, not to bore us or not to get tired. But I'm gonna be honest with you. You and I talked last night prior to this show. I said, you know what? I remember saying da da da. My hope is that every time we talk, we've thought more about this and bringing new things to the table. Like the top thing this morning was opportunity, right? A lot of people kept saying opportunity. Now let's go a bit deeper. What does that opportunity look like? Because for me, I would like us to get away from expecting the government to create stuff for us or give us stuff. All I want from then, the actual government, the elected one, create legislation and policies that allow for equitable opportunity, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, right now, Jamal, like for some reason I feel in my chest, like I feel heated. I don't know if it's a discussion or what's going on, but like I'm recalling, and Tway, what you said as well, when I was listening in the back, I was like, because she mentioned that yes, not only is this a decade-long conversation, but there was a comment she made, and now it's not coming to the top of my head, right? But I know it was in regards to the fact that, anyways, it made me think of the point, like maybe we're not bringing in early enough. I don't want to use the word punishment, but like when we're young kids, we're young children growing up, and we heard this so many times before, like daughters are obviously raised different from sons. And in the back of my mind, I was just like, maybe an issue is just how we raise, children differently, like when it comes to different genders as well. And then I started thinking about a story that I did years ago, Media Maya, and it was just about like, why do we even have gangs in Bermuda? Because like genuine question, when did they start? What's going on? Why do people get inducted into it? Why are you a part of it? Like, and I remember like the feedback that was coming back was a lot of like, oh, I would give me 5 minutes I can go to it and actually look at it. But like it was so in depth. And then it went even into like who these people are dating and like, are we like as a young people doing the right thing, allowing things to happen, like even as their quote unquote girlfriend, just allowing it to happen, or even the parents, not stepping in when they see something wrong and just hoping that it's a phase, all those type of things. Like, and people are like, no, people see this. I remember even getting messages back to me on this discussion from persons who had already like been imprisoned in Bermuda talking about why there are, or like things of that instance. I'll be sure to bring it back on the story tomorrow and give you guys some of the responses that were in this story, because it was a very in-depth conversation as to like, what's the point? We're so small and, there's nowhere really to go here. Like, this is all we have. Why aren't we nurturing it? Why do we want to damage it so much?
I think, and you saying what you just said, so small, I think one would think it should be easier to solve our problems. I think it's proven difficult. I saw someone shared last week that Desmond Crockle was quoted as saying, Bermudians love to gossip, but we don't love to talk. It's an interesting quote. It's interesting because, we'll send a WhatsApp message around, we'll send the stuff around, but are we really addressing or willing to help? And I think that's where we're lost. I think that we love to talk about stuff, but we don't like to help. That's it to me. Like, I mean, I've said it before. A lot of us don't want to get our hands dirty. And again, I give people grace because people, Maya, let's just be honest. People are just trying to survive right now. You know, a lot of people are just trying to survive. And I can't knock them for that. I know what it's like. Look, we fought the government, what's, you know, 300,000, $250,000 legal bill. Like, it's taxing on people and families.
Yeah. And not to even go into it so deeply, but I think a big help from the question from today is just like, I really don't think that we should be working these long hours. Like, it's just regular humans indeed. Like, it's ridiculous because we spend more time away from the family that we have. And that's a big part of it. Like,
Maya, I'm glad you just said that, because what no one's spoken about is the family and whatever that looks like to you, folks. But the family plays an important role. I'm not going to get into single parents or whatnot. I came from a single parent home. But we know, regardless of whether it's a full or nuclear family or a single family, at the end of the day, it comes down to how one's able to parent and what that bigger family unit looks like, right? You have, again, this conversation is so deep, folks. It's so deep. But we have to keep having it, because what I would rather do is have this conversation until we've got solutions that we can actually execute than to hear reports of losing more of our sons. Like, it's something has to give. And like, I don't know, man. It's hard to understand. It's hard to understand that. Is it anger or is it confusion or both? But it's hard to understand that we could be so comfortable killing each other off. And I think that, you know, I hear, you know, you've said it, people said it, you know, they just don't value life. Someone said, look at the way they ride bikes. Is it that they don't value life, or they think it can't happen to me?
I feel like it's, yeah, I think many people believe that this isn't going to happen to them. There's been so many incidents, collisions, and everything that I report and read, and still to this day remember and think about, like, this young man, is he okay? Is his spine repaired? Is he fine now? Like, it's been years now. Like, things that still come back, and I'm just like, a lot of these people do not believe that it actually happened to them. And like I brought to the show a few weeks ago about the interview I did with the doctor as well, who even mentioned that, like, yeah, so many people just go, like, with speeding on these roads all the time. You know, if you speed every single day, every single time you're on your bike, no, you're not going to think that one instance is going to happen to you, because it's going to feel like 1 out of 3,000 chance or whatever, like a high percentage, but it can easily be you. It can easily be you.
Yeah. Let's get to your news break, Maya. I know we've got some stuff. Audience, there's a lot of comments that have come through. We'll get to your comments after the news break, but Maya's got a lot for us, as always, on a Monday. Over to you, MP.
Good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. So my news is story. So my news this morning, there are 360 officers in the Bermuda Police Service. No record as far back as 1979 shows staffing levels this low in Bermuda. Officer numbers need to rise in order for the Bermuda Police Service to effectively respond to violent firearm crimes. So far in Bermuda in 2024, we have mourned the murders of Zai J. Jones in May of 2024 and Deontay Trim, as well as the deaths of Naveed Trim Prophet, Dre Trim Prophet, Nicole Prophet, and Raymond Trim, and most recently, the murders of Razai Garland and Amon Robinson. So getting back to the opening of this story, things that you should know, Bermuda has a population of about, let's say, higher than 65,000 or around 65,000. As previously stated, we have 360 officers and 8 murders so far for 2024. I did a bit of research into the other nations with like similar populations as Bermuda and what it's looking like within their nation. So first, in comparison, Dominica has a population of about 72,000. According to their Ministry of National Security, their police force presently consists of 444 established officers. Now, according to Dominican News Online, they have had 4 murders this year, the latest report on June the 5th. So for their stats and for purposes, that's about 10,000 more people than Bermuda, nearly 100 more officers, and 4 less murders. Now, another nation is Antigua and Barbuda. Now, their population is about 92,000. Law enforcement in Antigua and Bermuda comprises Barbuda comprises more about 750 staff members. And I couldn't find the exact number of officers, but that's how many staff members they have. And according to Antigua Observer, as of June 29th, the country has had 6 homicides this year. So for stats purposes, that's about 30,000 more people than Bermuda, also double the police force-ish, and 2 less murders. Now, in my last one here is St. Kitts and Nevis has a population of about 47,000 people. Although I could not find the official number of officers, according to St. Kitts Observer News, they have had a total of 5 murders so far this year. So for stats purposes, again, that's about 20,000 less people than Bermuda and 3 less murders. However, as added insight, what I did find was 2 initiatives that were recently implemented by St. Kitts and Nevis, which may interest Bermuda's national security and police force in general, really. So according to their government website, last year, the Commissioner of Police said the force intends to utilize Section 10 of the Islands Constable Act. And this act basically would permit that police officers to act will permit that police force to temporarily enlist former law enforcement personnel to assist in peacekeeping endeavors in extreme circumstances of emergencies. Which basically means people who have been officers before can kind of step back into that role as well to assist in what they're doing. Their commissioner said that these persons will be enlisted to serve in the police force for a period of 90 days in the first instance. And at the end of this period, the nation situation will be assessed and the high command will determine if an extension of the time is basically needed. And then the second, which is interesting to add, is that the commissioner as well said that they've upgraded information rewards. So effective of June in 2023, they now awarding people who actually give them information that leads to an arrest and a conviction of the criminal will actually get awarded up to $9,000 in US dollars.
Fascinating. I do wonder what the recruitment strategies are like in each place. I know, speaking to some people, they say that, I think violence in Bermuda, you tag it on to like violence, like programs, like when cable TV came to Bermuda and, people were able to watch certain things that we hadn't had access to before. And during that time, a lot was made about police, right? Especially in LA at the time. Police were made out to be the enemy. And so it wasn't a career that most folks, especially, Black folks would want to grow up and be, because they saw the police as the enemy. So I would like to know what their strategies are in majority Black countries like that to actually attract local officers. The other thing is space, like how big are the islands and comparatively, to get an understanding of people, like, because Bermuda's small, it's people everywhere, but some islands are big where people are spread out. Does that matter in terms of how they police the island, right? But I'd like to know the recruiting strategies right off, and also how the Bermuda Police Service actually responds to it. I know for years, Bermuda Police Service did recruit in the UK, recruited throughout the islands. Are we still recruiting in the island? Because it seems like they have some officers that we could take off their hands, if so. But are we still recruiting in the various islands? And also, keep in mind, is Bermuda even still attractive enough? Because before, Bermuda was attractive to many officers in the islands. Is it still attractive enough for people to come to Bermuda and police? Back then, police were respected. Today, you see people going to prison, court and getting off. Like, dude, what's the morale like? So I think there's a lot of questions, but that's a good starter in terms of addressing the policing shortage.
Yeah, and the commissioner of police actually said recently that, well, first off, he says, rest assured that the men and the women of the BPS remain committed to, be focused on the mission to make Bermuda safer. That's first and foremost. But he also did mention that the government as a whole wants to ensure that equity is, resourced across mandate and across board, and that they will be, progressing both local and overseas recruitment. So they will start looking out. They didn't say exactly where, but I can definitely follow up on that and see exactly if they are reaching out to the other islands or if it will be the UK more precisely. And also, basically that they're going away for a next training course as well on November, and they hope to get 25 new officers.
Yeah, I would also, one of the stories you mentioned, they were reaching out to former police officers. Well, if the regiment was so great at producing such important people in Bermuda, why not try to reach out to some former soldiers or to come up and train to be police? I mean, we had a lot of people in the regiment previously. I think that would be a great opportunity, because although the regiment has a slash budget where they don't have as many full-time people, there may be opportunities for former people. If you believe that the regiment was a worthy investment, we should have enough people trained to join the Bermuda Police Service. No? Yes?
That's a good point. I mean, in that story, again, it said when it was like of high circumstances, they felt like they did need more people. And again, only for a stipulation of 90 days to start. And then if they needed more to keep on, they'd keep them on. So it's not like a full-time thing, but even we could implement it for like 30 days or something. Just like having short-term like availabilities to put people on instead of making them commit to a long-term job of being an officer, basically.
Well, I know a lot of people. I remember a guy I went to college with. He goes, "Oh, dang, Obama's going to bring the soldiers home from Afghanistan." I said, "Well, why is that a bad thing?" And he said, "Because I'm trying to be a cop, and that takes away opportunities from me when soldiers return, trained, and get probably preferential opportunities and being hired as law enforcement." So again, Bermuda should probably look to the Bermuda Regiment if, in fact, you believe that they were good at providing qualified people.
Indeed, just another way to go. Now, in other news, meanwhile, the government announced steps to address Bermuda's pension problem. So the premier says that the government will be putting a cap on fees that impact pensions placing in Bermuda.
April 1st, 2025, the Ministry of Finance will implement limitations or caps on plan administration fees, which will result in substantial benefits for pension plan members, leading to larger amounts that Bermudians will have to support their retirement. These recommendations include, for those in defined contribution employer pension plans, also known as group retirement plans, the fees should not exceed 1.25% per year for members with balances over $50,000, 0.75% per year for balances between $25,000 and $50,000, and 0.5% per year for balances less than $25,000.
Now, for reference, basically the fees before didn't really have a cap, and some of them went over like 4% of an increase. So this will like obviously put that down, so people should be able to see more financial benefits and savings on their pensions moving forward.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Indeed. Now, in other recent news, the Minister of Tourism and Sport, Honorable Owen Dow, actually got to visit with some of our Olympians that will be heading off, Emma and Jack Harvey. And here's the story of what they did when they saw him at the pool.
The minister was joined by young people from the island's summer day camps, as well as Olympian Couture Horton parent chief and three-time Olympian Clarence Nicky Saunders. Both Olympians discussed with Jack, Emma, and the young people what to expect at the Olympics. Minister Darrow said, quote, "We are excited about the upcoming Paris Olympics and the amazing sports talent that will be representing Bermuda. It was such a great feeling watching Emma and Jack train, and having our young people there to witness this was just inspiring for all of us. Bermuda has had a difficult and solemn week, so being able to embrace our Olympic athletes and share their moment with our youth was heartfelt for me."
I love that. I love that. You know what I was thinking? I don't know if anyone saw the Euros, but the Dutch were probably the best. I mean, they were 100,000 people deep, right? I wonder if we're, again, thanks for that story in these times, but I wonder if is there a send-off for our Olympians? Because I'm hopeful. I want them to do well, like an airport send-off, and we're, doing something with Skyport, maybe the government, like getting a Bermudians down there to celebrate them and see them off. It's not just about the victory when they come home and clapping them and congratulating them at the airport, but send them off with some excitement, some hope, some love. And I think that if it hasn't been done, if they haven't left already, let's consider something like that.
Definitely, but I will say that most of them are not in Bermuda right now, and the ones that you saw there will most likely be leaving Bermuda before they get to Paris. Like they're all over the world are now training. Obviously,
we could have probably organized something like that in prior, because again, most of them don't train in Bermuda, but something of a send off, I think, going forward. But I like that young people were able to have signs and celebrate the siblings. I love that.
Yeah, it was a great day, great story, and obviously it shows like inspiration. Like we got, and of course, three-time Olympian Clarence Nicky Saunders was there as well, and he still holds the high jump record for the Commonwealth Games.
Yes, he
almost
did.
35 years later. Like,
Yes, he did.
incredible to even be in that presence of just like median excellence, athletic excellence. Okay, want to leave it off with just a fun story for you guys here. But Sunday Fun-Day was yesterday, and if you attended, you would have definitely enjoyed a great Sunday in the park with like good weather, good foods, entertainment, everything of the like. And also, you probably would have seen a lot of people getting dunked, like Couture, Horton, Parent Chief.
Katora, we got you, Katora. You went in, you took the inaugural dive in. Make some noise for Katora. You, who did it? Who did it? You did it? You got her? How do you feel about dunking her?
You know, those children must be St. George's fans. I like them.
Because if you know, Couture, diehard Somerset.
Yeah, I love that. Let's more of that for for Somerset fans from St. George's fans, please, folks.
Indeed. No, look here. We got the weather coming up for you guys, and basically it's going to be some sun, some clouds, and a chance of a shower early in the morning time. So hopefully in the afternoon it's not that much rain, and the sun comes out for you guys. And we've got a high of 85 degrees, so humidity as always in Bermuda.
All right. Well, Maya, thank you for that. So I've got World Youth Skills Day, Social Media Giving Day, and I like this one. In the US, it's National Give Something Away Day. So, you know what? Give something away day. If you can, audience, let us know real quickly. If you can give something away, what would it be?
Like physically?
Anything. If you could give something away, what would it be?
If I could give something away, it'll probably be my stress.
So you want to make other people's lives?
Oh, I didn't say give it to somebody. I just wanted to give it away to myself. Okay, let me think. What would you give away though, Jamal?
I don't have none. What would I give away? You know what? I'd probably give away some of my clothes that I don't need. You know, honestly, I think we go through times in our life where we buy stuff just because we like it, not because we need it. Maybe that's some people's lives normally. And I think clothing I would give to people who are in need of being clothed.
There you go. And just like you said, honestly, now I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? Reparations first. I'd rather be given to before I give away. But there you go.
Well, real quickly, I'll tell you a story. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says sneakers. Renee Simmons says clothes as well. Michelle White says time is precious. I don't know about
you'll give away your time. Oh,
it depends. I'll give it to people that if I have it.
Yeah, that's a precious thing to give away, your time.
When I was growing up, you know, I'd go with my nana to shopping center. That was where she liked to shop if she didn't go Linda's, right? And I remember, you know, you had, you know, people would hang out outside the store, try to get people to give them money when they come out. Hey, can I get $2? And my nana taught me when I was young. She said, no, you never give them money. You ask them what they want.
And yeah, my grandma did the same thing.
That's a Bermudian. It must be. So I was walking back to my hotel this weekend in Atlanta and saw a guy coming towards me. I said, he's going to ask me for something. It's coming from Whole Foods because, you know, eating in a hotel is expensive. So I was walking back to the hotel and he said, sir, can I have some dollars? So I'm like, oh, I don't carry cash, but it's a Starbucks right here. We can go in here. I'll get you something. He says to me, oh, but can you take me to Whole Foods? It's like, so I said, bro, we can get in Starbucks or we can go our separate ways. So we went in Starbucks and I said, just order what you want. So a grande something. I don't know. I don't drink that stuff. And then I said, well, you don't want nothing to eat. He said, oh, I'll take a brownie. I said, that's all you want? He said, okay, yeah, cool. So I paid for it and asked the guy at the cashier just to give it to this guy. So he said, oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And as I left, I just said to myself, I hope that everyone understands that we just don't know other people's story. And it's so much easier to be kind if you're able, right? Now, again, I wasn't turned around to go back to Whole Foods, but the lesson that my nana taught me at such a young age, I mean, I was always by her hip, would stick with me because even if I had cash, he was not getting it. But I'm going to help you. So I say that to say, National Giveaway Day, like, you don't have to give if you don't have it, number one. And number two is, if you do give, just do it because it's the right thing to do. Don't do it for social media or put it up or whatnot. But honestly, I've been to the thing where you donate clothes, the donation box, Maya.
Mm-hmm.
The girlfriend's recording their boyfriend putting the bag in, then the boyfriend does the girlfriend. I'm like, man, we crazy. We are crazy.
We are living in a different era. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we're special. So be kind, man. Be kind. And again, don't kill yourself to give to others what you can't give yourself. Folks, we're going to continue the conversation. Thank you so much, Maya. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
All right. Don't go anywhere. Quick break. We'll be back 2 minutes, 27 seconds. I want to go through all those comments. I'm not going to ignore you.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
It took 14 days to build your business plan. 6 months to build the courage to leave your day job. 3 weeks to find the perfect location. It took 10 days to outfit your space just right. And 1 day before your first client walked in the door. All totaled, it took you a full year to get your business operational. And this is just the beginning. To the entrepreneurs, the risk takers, the people that shape our economic community, we salute you and are here for you every step of the way. BEDC, providing knowledgeable, progressive, professional, and innovative support to Bermuda businesses.
Summer is almost here. Dive into the season with dog floats and dog pools. Enjoy 20% off West Paws dog floating toys and shop our life jackets for safety in the water this summer. Get all your summer needs before the holidays and events begin. Don't forget to stock up on poo bags and check out Dicky Bags, the poo bag holder that locks in the smell until you can dispose of it. Remember, even dogs need sunblock, so visit Noah's Ark today, Bermuda's most trusted animal supply store, for all your summer essentials, and ask us about our rewards program.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. Just want to go back to some of the comments. The question this morning was, what can we do to save our Bermudian sons? I want to go back. We got quite a few comments earlier that I just want to make sure we cover. Tiffany Painter, we're going to have to read it from the side. She says, I feel like part of the answer to that question would involve going up to Westgate or going to co-ed and asking these men what could have helped them. There's plenty of studies and books already written, like the ACEs study the Family Center shared about correlations between adverse childhood experiences and health-related issues. One positive adult relationship is all it takes, apparently just one, to change the direction of a child's life for the better. You know what, Tiff? It's like, we have so many studies done. What was the report on education? We've got all this information. So now, what can we do with it to save our Bermudian sons? We get the information from those in Westgate and co-ed. Now, what do we do with the information to save our Bermudian sons? Michelle White says, it's not about needing to earn over time with family. She said, it's about needing to earn over time with family, absent father figures or mentors, opportunities to earn a sense of self and confidence in self. Indeed. Mark Arthur C. Phillips, he said, Mr. Hartman, I believe many parents are not sending their children to community club teams because of the various illegal activities and unruly behavior that can happen on club grounds. Well, I think that's a valid point, Mark. I think that, some people only want what's best for their children, right? And if they don't feel that the environments at community clubs are conducive to what they deem safe and what they want their children around, then yeah, they have every right. But can we not fix that from the inside, or are we being ruled out? I know Maceo Dill and I spoke some years ago where, some people feel that community clubs have become bars and nothing more, right? It's about the party and the bar making money, not about the youth development and that sense of community. So no, that's a valid point, Mark. There's accountability on the community club and its members' part. Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I think religion plays a part. Even if parents didn't go to church regularly, they would send their kids to Sunday school or youth program. Yeah, I think that's a typical Black family. I ain't seeing it. My family go to church like that, but I had to go Sunday school. Like, huh? But they would say, I'm the parent. Yeah, that's how they would say, we're the adults. But no, all jokes aside, I take your point, Charles, that there was a time when even if the children, the parents didn't go, or greater family didn't go, children were a part of YPD or youth groups or went to Sunday school. Again, what more can be done to save our Bermudian sons? Renee Simmons says, it was tossed aside when we first spoke of gang violence, and now so many have been lost. We all must seek the better angels for our nature. Yeah, I remember a lot of people saying that. Like, there was a denial for a long time, a denial that we even had gangs, right? Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, community clubs also play a role. The number of young people who are not involved in things like Scouts, yep, I was a Boy Scout, Duke of Edinburgh, and other free services that help establish a moral compass in the young people. Thank you for that, because I did ask for explanation about the moral compass, but yeah, I was a Boy Scout. I weren't the best, but I did do pretty well in that bow and arrow stuff, archery, they called it. Suzanne Ingham says, exactly. Families are being torn apart because parents have to work 2 and 3 jobs to try and make ends meet. There's a lot of anger with the children. Well, yeah, and I think that goes to what Maya said. I wanted to address that as well while Maya was on. Look, I know some entrepreneurs may not like to hear this, right? But we do have a very unhealthy society because of the workspace. We do spend a lot of time working. No, I'm a believer that work should be about productivity, not about time. I think it should be about productivity, what you get done versus how much time you spend in a certain space. But I definitely believe that the old 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, no, I just don't think. It's like we address everything but that. We talk about so many things in the past that were not, and many of us accept it just because it's normal. What else can be done to save our Bermudian sons? Shamari Sky says, Black male homicide has become commercialized. It's literally everywhere. Our young Black males grow up hearing and seeing people that look like them killed and as entertainment their whole life. So we must address that issue as well, because our kids feel it's okay. Yeah. And I think this is a part of when people start talking about when cable TV came to Bermuda. Like it's glamorized, right? In the rap industry, in I'm not going to say rap industry, in the music industry, the entertainment industry, period, right? It is glorified. And it's like, almost like, well, I have to grow up and make sure I don't get gut, right? Yeah, you're not lying. Is it up to Black people, actors and actresses, to turn jobs down that portray us in a certain way? Stop, singing music or sharing music that, exploits us? Maybe. All right, folks. One final break. We're going to come back and wrap it up. If you haven't already, do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, whatever platform you're on. Make sure you share it with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Final break. Come back. Somebody's going to, hopefully get the question right and be eligible for this week's prize. Stick with us. We'll be back after this break. 2 minutes, 19 seconds.
Hot summer, even hotter deals. Beat the heat with BAC's Cup Match Special. Save hundreds of dollars on our energy-saving Carrier high-efficiency mini-split units. And get a free Celio Breeze smart thermostat with any mini-split system purchase. Want even more deals? Get 10% off all of our 29-inch Comfort Zone oscillating fans, our Comfort Air Window AC cooling units, and our Hunter ceiling fans when you purchase with cash. This summer, don't just battle the heat. Beat the heat with BAC. Offer valid through August 3rd or while supplies last.
Bermuda's favorite trivia game is now a game show.
What's up, Bermuda? My name is Patrina O'Connor Painter, aka Power Girl Trina, and I'd like to welcome you to Bermuda Trivia. Ready? We're going to be talking about people and places. I'm serious.
Now, have you heard about Bermuda Trivia before? Yeah. Okay, so you think you'd be able to answer some of these questions?
Just wait and see. Go to www.bermudatrivia.com, get more information about it, get the game, play it with your family, educate yourselves. Really?
If I get this wrong,
how much do you know?
Bermuda Trivia, the game show, brought to you by Bacardi, premieres on Monday, July 8th, only on bcgtv.com. Subscribe today.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All right, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a regular basis. Again, if you haven't already, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. It's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Don't forget Bermuda Trivia, another new episode tonight with Patrina O'Connor Painter, aka Power Girl. You can catch it on bcgtv.com tonight. Bermuda Trivia, the game show. All right. Make sure you follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right. It's a Who Said It today. All right. Who said it? I'm sure you've heard this quote, so don't let us down, audience. Who said this quote? All right. Quote, "We are inevitably our brother's keeper because we are our brother's brother." End quote. Who said it? Civil rights. All right, everyone got it, but Suzanne Ingham showed up on my screen first. MLK. Mark Arthur C. Phillips also said MLK. Rosalind Famous. Stacey Ann Brown, Renee Simmons, and well, no, not Malcolm X Charles. So Suzanne Ingham will go in as today's person to enter the draw. Congratulations to you, Suzanne. But let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up, folks. Look, I want to read these comments real quickly from Miss Augustus, who lost her son in 2022 to murder. And she says, you can provide all the opportunities for kids, giving them a safe space and positive environment. All good. Then returning them to their toxic environment they're used to. She goes on to say, I feel to fix the problem here in Bermuda is working on the family unit, providing equal opportunities for our children, schools, and jobs. I think a lot of it does start with addressing the inequities. Anything else is just putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. the Band-Aid's not going to do much for the broken bone, folks. We have to address the root causes. And I think if we can agree that the root causes start with the inequities in our society, then we can start working. What we have to do is, if we all have ideas or we all think we have the answers, strategize and execute. We have to strategize and execute. My hope is that, and I'll leave you with this as the daily inspiration as well. We understand that we are our brother's keeper. So your daily inspiration, same quote, we are inevitably our brother's keeper because we are our brother's brother. And that's Dr. Martin Luther King. All right, folks, again, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you catch that Bermuda Trivia episode on bcgtv.com. If you haven't seen the first episode, go check it out as well today. It's pretty cool. And if you want to be a contestant, you can also hit contact at bermudatrivia.com. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. Is out. Peace.